Exclamation everybody, and welcome to a little video I decided to do based upon some of my experience on the PlayMindcrack server. As you've seen from my pub crawl series, I've been playing a little bit on there. I've been doing a lot off camera, trying to just practice a little bit, try to get my skills up to date a little bit more as far as PvP goes. And for some reason I'm getting a bunch of frame rate lag. I don't know why. That's very strange. And as you've probably guessed, I am on the museum server right now. This is the season 3 map, and let me see if I can clear up some of this frame rate issue here. Okay, very good. And this should look very familiar to those of you who have played the survival games as much as I have. This is one of the maps. This is the spawn area of the season 3, and normally there's a beacon here with some crafting benches and all that stuff, and this is where you normally start out here. And this is what I wanted to do. I'm not very good, as you've seen from my videos, of at PvP. So I sort of wanted to convey a few things that I've noticed that are sort of helping me a little bit, just from the sake of trying to be better at the game. Even though acknowledging these things is not the same as actually making my fingers do that work that is necessary. So I still am victim to my own reaction times as well. Still. But there's some things I've noticed that I've tried, and some things that didn't really work out for me. And I wanted to sort of convey a little bit of that, and sort of show you some of the things that I've seen off camera, and some of the things I've done. So first of all, and the goal of this is really to try to help you perhaps strategize on your own. Come up with something that works well for you. So first of all, we'll start off right over here at the firehouse. Okay. What I have noticed, and excuse me if there's a lot of lip smacking because suddenly my mouth has just gone completely dry. What I've noticed over here is that there tends to be a couple chests that spawn in here, and what makes this a particularly nice spot to try to hang out in for a little bit and grab some chests is that there's a lot of tight corridors here. And what I've noticed, right, particularly right here, is you get a good view of the area around here, and there's almost always a chest in this area somewhere. Sometimes right there next to the cube, sometimes over by the tree, whatnot. And you can kind of just sit here and crouch and pretty much get a good view of this whole corner. And what I had happen a few times was people would come running in the front door here. This is really the only way out, except for back there. There's a hole back there, which I don't know if there's a way out of that little area back there. But a lot of people will come running in here, and if you're just kind of standing here, you can get a few first hits in, and they don't really know what hit them right away. Another good area is over here as well. You can sort of just jump out and hit people pretty good, and still stay relatively, protected by the wall here. Just a few things that I've noticed along the way. May or may not help. I actually got 2 kills out of it off camera. Of course, I do all my best work off camera. That's usually how it works. So that's just one little tip there. Another thing, if we run over to Goodland here, now you'll see down here in this pit, this is the King of the Ladder pit here. Oftentimes people will spawn right around this circular area here. One of the worst spawns you can get in this particular map, because you will almost always have about 3 or 4 other people spawning right around you, and the chests are around the edge here. So your main objective there, and it's all gold swords and gold ingots usually. So basically your main objective there is to grab the sword as fast as you can, try to jump off into one of the adjoining caves. Sometimes there's a chest over there as well, and just you know, fight off as many people as you can. Try to knock them down into the lava there. It's very hard to get back out of that lava pit, especially if you land in the lava itself. And man, I am for some reason suddenly getting a ton of frame rate problems here. I don't know why. It's just every once in a while jumping down to dropping down to 15 here. And now it's at 200. So yeah, there you go. Anywho, that's just a little bit of a tip there. Basically, the only other tip I can give you is get out of this pit as quickly as you can. Now, you'll notice in this particular map there is no ring circling the King of the Ladder pit here, whereas in the actual PvP map there is. That was just an addition added to allow you to actually get out of this place without taking too much damage. So, and I believe it actually connects over to there where that building is. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, we're going to run over to my favorite spot. And here we are. You see the double portal here? It looks kind of like a face. This is probably the luckiest spawn you will get in the map. If you end up here, you're going to be in some nice weapons, because for whatever reason, you'll notice in this map there are no chests around here. But for whatever reason in the PvP map, there generally almost always is, usually right around here, at which, just a little tidbit of knowledge there. I have run over here at times and found that people, when they spawn here, you're usually facing this way. I found that people will just run off, because usually there's a chest right over here on the beach that has a diamond sword in it, and they forget to actually turn around and see that there's usually two more chests right behind you. One usually over here, and one usually over here. Those both seem to have diamond swords in them. One also has blocks in it, stone blocks. I don't quite know why, but something nice to have, I guess. You could potentially grab a few and then start blocking off the off the beacons if you wanted to. I don't know what the point of that would be, but there you go. I just gave you an idea. Usually there's a chest over here that also has a diamond sword in it, and almost always there's a chest over here as well that has a diamond sword in it. If you looked at my original video, you saw that I came out here with 4 diamond swords. No real armor though, and that's kind of the problem, is you'll run out of here without any armor and then just immediately get killed by somebody. Also, those little pieces of land over there, there's usually always a chest over there as well. It has, I believe, a stone sword in it, and not a diamond, a golden helmet usually, or some sort of golden armor. So you might want to check that out as well. Also, all along this beach over here, behind the trivia area and behind the snow dropper death machine thingamajigger, usually there's chests all along this beach. And they're usually pretty good stuff too. So you might want to spend a little bit of time running around here, around this parkour, oh my god, why has this ever been designed and built thing, and just, you know, spend a little time. The other problem though is that you are highly visible around here. Usually a lot of the drops in here, or usually a lot of loot in here, is either gold armor, which makes you even more visible, or the wedding dress stuff, which just makes you look silly, but it actually tends to work a little bit. So there you go. And what I want to do now is run over to another spot that you tend to spawn in and show you a little bit about that. Okay, welcome to what I like to call the bottom of Badge's annoyingly long spiral staircase. Occasionally, if you're unlucky, you'll end up down here spawning. There won't be any chests here, by the way. And the only thing you can really do is run up these stairs. Now, there's also a sort of luckier spawn, which happens right around here, I would say. I say it's slightly luckier because there will almost always be someone down here below you. So you need to run fast. You need to get out of here. But also, you are far closer to the chest that usually appears around on the stairway here. Also, not only is there one or two usually chests on the stairway, but occasionally, if I ever get to the the area, occasionally up in here there will be a chest over there. The downfall to this is that obviously you got to swim through this muck to get to it, and then there might be somebody running up right behind you. But there generally tends to be some kind of sword in there. So at the very least, this guy coming up here may not have gotten any swords yet. So you might at least have an advantage that way. And then it's just a matter of running up the stairs, hanging on the left, going into the main area here. And if you run forward, you will end up out of the building. Now, occasionally, a chest will spawn in one of these corners. Usually it's this corner over here. Sometimes it's that corner over there. It depends on you as to whether or not you want to actually spend time doing it. Obviously, there's going to be somebody on your heels. When you come out here, usually you're pretty safe for a little while. Sometimes there's a chest right there. Usually there's nobody else around here. So you can pretty much go either way you want and sort of take a moment to look over your inventory and find out if you have anything you need, and also get any armor on that you might need as well. Now, another thing while I'm here, if I run over to the observatory here. Now, the observatory sometimes will have a chest over in that corner that I've seen. I have never seen anything in it, though. It seems like somebody always tends to come right through here and grab it. However, there is one here that almost nobody remembers to find or nobody ever sees usually. No, two, I should say. One tends to show up down here right by the mushroom farm, right? Or over here a little bit. The other one, which is the one that people tend to see easiest, appears up here usually. So you might, if you run out of Badger's place, you might want to just come up in here real quick and take a look and see if you can find some stuff. So what else? Well, as far as beacons go, now we all know the beacon when you first started, right by the cube thingy, ice cube thingy over there. That one tends to be the most frequented because everybody sees it when they spawn in, and that's, that is the easiest one to get to. It's also the most attractive one because it is very close to the center of that map, which is right around in here somewhere is the actual center of that map. And as the game progresses, you need to get closer and closer to the center because the blocks, you'll start to get the sickness out there, and the wooziness, and then eventually it'll just kill you outright. Even if you, as I discovered, get back to the center, it will, if you spent too much time out there, there is no forgiveness right now, anyway, in the game as of the beta. Now, there was another beacon here, and here's where I've got to go find my way around. This is, interestingly enough, someone left a comment about how they didn't know their way around the Season 3 map that much. And to be honest with you, as somebody who watched a lot of the Season 3 Minecraft stuff, watching it on screen and actually navigating it yourself are two completely different things, especially since they don't seem to like signage very much. I believe it is this way, what I'm looking for. Nope, that is not what I'm looking for. I will be back though. What I am looking for is the Home Depot. So it must be this way, since I have eliminated all the other pathways along here. In there is a beacon that is a little bit more, shall I say, attractive to use. And I'll tell you why once I arrive here. I believe this is it, although it's not. No, this is not it. I need the world to load a little bit here. Let's do an F3A. Okay, there we go. It's a little bit better. Ah, here we go. So as you can see, this is the museum server. So things have been altered slightly from the museum server as opposed to the actual PvP map. For instance, blocks above where the beacon would be have been removed, although it looks like that might not be the case here. But several other things have happened, and this is always open over here as well. So you would walk in here, probably from this direction, and there'd be a beacon right here. All these chests are gone as well. This one tends to be the more attractive of the beacons, mostly because you can put your back up against the wall and still hit the stuff over there, right? And then all you've got to worry about is over here, and potentially somebody dropping in from the top, but I don't think there's an easy way for them to get up on the roof, unless they had the pillar blocks from the other chests that I mentioned. So this is probably the more attractive area to actually use the beacon from, because then you can keep your back protected and keep an eye out for somebody else running in after you. Cool. So those are some of my. Now, granted, I am I am, as I mentioned, not the best at this game by a long shot. But I figure these are some things that I've observed myself doing that seem to have worked out for me, and if they tend to work out for me and I'm terrible at the game, perhaps they can work out better for you as well. There are a few combat tips that I have. Number one, and I've mentioned this in one of my videos, when you're attacking somebody, do not back up. This pretty much is the hardest thing you can ever do, right? Is to remind yourself not to back up. Because it's the most, you think to yourself, okay, this guy's running at me full speed, he's hitting me, let me try to back up to try to dodge some things. But in fact, what you're doing is, you're not dodging anything, because his reach is farther than yours when you're backing up, right? Remember, you can hit somebody from about 4 blocks away if you're lucky, if you've got a good ping. What you need to do is run at them. Now, what I tended to mention in the video was to run straight at the person and hope for the best. And if you run through them and run past them, just spin around and, do a little spin job here and hit them again. What I've noticed, though, that has been working a little bit better for me, and I've noticed it working for some of the Mindcrackers who have been recording, is if you're attacking somebody, if you go sort of like this and circle around them, you will have a little bit more luck. You'll be able to get a few more shots in. They'll still be able to hit you, but it's harder for them to sort of track you around, especially if they have a bad ping, because suddenly you've disappeared from their screen and they didn't see you do this maneuver. So that tends to help a little bit. I still get my ass handed to me often, but I have found that I get more shots in by doing that. Now, what I want to do, this sort of covers the tips that I have for this particular map, as far as the spawns that I've seen and other things. Also, Good's amalgamation of a house over there. There's also a beacon up there. Good luck getting up there. That's just a pain in the ass. You'll spend half of your time in the game just trying to get up there, and then eventually somebody else will grab an ender pearl and end up there just knocking you off into oblivion. So probably not worth it, at least for my opinion. Hello, chicken. I was wondering what was over there. Okay, so now let's get back to spawn here with our magic clock, and I am going to head over to the second map which is titled Ethos Arena in the tooltip. I will explain the whole name once I get over there, because if I don't, I'll get crucified by those of you who know Mindcrack. So let me get over there right now, and we'll continue this discussion. Alright, so we're over by the Ark right now. This is sort of the edge of the map here. And a few people on Reddit mentioned that they believe that the Ark was moved closer to the village. It's too close for me to tell, to be honest with you. If anything, I was standing in the village earlier and I looked over here. If anything, it seemed like the Ark was moved slightly over. Because the dark cloud that's up in the sky somewhere here that you can't really see looked closer to me when I was over there. But in all honesty, it could be just exactly identical. Although I don't remember the pen being there, so maybe it was slightly shifted over this way. I can't really tell, to be honest with you. But you can see the relative distance between them right now. Also, something else to note, I was running around the arena here, and I'll note it again once I get in there. This is I don't know when this snapshot was taken of the Season 3 map, but the arena is not quite finished in this snapshot. So there's like holes in the ground and whatnot that are not there in the actual PvP map. So just a note. Also our animal friends here are not taking a ride around as they are right now. So first of all, I'm in the Ark here, and sometimes there's a chest here, sometimes there's a chest over there, sometimes there's a chest right by the door there. So you can get a few good drops here if you run in here from the spawn, which is over, well, wherever you've spawned at, and we'll get to that in a minute. Now up here as well, the other thing that makes the Ark pretty attractive for a place to kind of get yourself leveled up a little bit, there tends to be chests up and around here. Now, the thing to note here, and this has happened to me a couple times, you are highly visible here. Highly, highly visible. I've had people snipe at me quite often, and a lot of times they will grab an ender pearl, hit up onto the roof here, and then jump down and just, get a good hit off on you. Now, in the PvP map, there's a beacon right here where the oh, awesome. Yeah, we're on the Minecraft server where Noah is buried. This is a fairly decent beacon to use if you want, but again, you're going to want to do it from this side over here because usually nobody is running around over here. Usually. Sometimes you might see somebody over here, but more often than not, if they are, they usually can't see you because you're up here. If you move over here, though, these guys over here will see you. You will be highly visible in that regard. Also, several segments of the railing here have been removed, so you can sort of jump off into the water if you want, or just use the good old ender pearl method. A lot of times I do find ender pearls up here, so if you're looking for a good area that tends to drop or tends to contain ender pearls often, this seems to be the area that is the most popular for that. And what we will do right now is we will jump out the little escape hatch here. Awesome. And we'll head on over to the little village here. And what I want to say about this is this tends to be my favorite spot of the map. Not this particular beach, but the village in particular. And the reason being is well, it gives you a lot of places to hide. Okay, so you have a lot of places where there's a lot of these corners, right? Where you can just kind of stand here, get your inventory squared away, and still have enough visibility around your inventory to see if somebody's running around here. And you can sometimes, if you're lucky, they won't catch you right away. They'll just run by, and you can get on their tail. Also, there is a beacon usually right in this area, which is also a pretty good area because you can stand, I believe, right around here, and I think you can still access it from this area and have your back protected. As long as, yeah, you can pretty much have your back protected and still access it, which is a good thing. Why this village seems to me to be the best place to do your PvPing for, at least for me, is because of the same reason that I tend to build my first buildings in Minecraft on beaches, and that is the sound levels. The sound in this area is really good. You can hear footsteps everywhere, right? Because you've got sand, right? And then you've got all this wood around here. And it's hard for people to avoid the wood and the sand, right? Which means that as people are running through here, right, they're making a ton of noise. So if you're in your inventory or you're doing something else, or you're looking around, or text messaging somebody, or whatever the hell you're doing instead of playing the game, you can usually hear people running around here, and you know, get ready and follow the sound. That is why I like this area in particular. There is one other thing here that I like, and I will mention it in a minute. But first, sorry, I'm kind of jumping around. My mind is in several places. Oh, there's chickens there. Why do I hear clicking? That's chickens. Okay. Up in the arena here now. The map is called, in the tooltip, it's called Ethos Arena. And here's where I gotta go and explain everything, because if I don't, the fans will vibrate so violently that they will destroy the universe. This arena was built by BOO, with the help of Arcus, who I believe did the some of the architecture and some of the let's do an F3A here. Some of the ceiling, the roof. It says Ethos Arena on the front because he still pranked BOO and called it Ethos Arena. he was the one that put the letters there. So there you go. Everything's been explained. So I don't get any angry comments about, hey, it's not Ethos Arena and all that stuff. Yeah, I know. Calm yourself down. That I'm just using what is on the tooltip. That is what they said on the tooltip of the actual server, the PvP. Okay? So, now that that's all been explained, there's usually a beacon right here. Probably the worst beacon in this map. Because you can have people running at you from this direction, you can have people running at you from this direction. More often than not, you have people running at you from this direction, and you don't usually see them until it's too late. You can stand back kind of far and access it. I think right around here is about the extent at which you can access it. So you can have a little bit of protection, but not a lot. I mean, these people are just going to come at you from every direction. So I tend to avoid this one as much as I possibly can. Again, the one I like to use is up on the arc. Now, and this is where things get a little difficult because I can't fly on this server and I can't get anything out of the chest. This is going to be a little bit difficult to navigate. So what I'm going to do is get a higher vantage point and continue our discussion here, because I got to go and run around and actually do it the legitimate way. So I'll be right back. And here we go. Welcome to the area that will comprise 99% of your spawns on this map. We're on the roof of the building, and I know that this is usually the area that I spawn because of this sign here. There are usually tons and tons of chests around here. Let me do another F3A to try to load some of this up here. There we go. Usually tons and tons and tons of chests up on this roof. Both down in this corner. This corner seems to favor them, honestly. Over here where the workbench is and whatnot. That tends to favor it. There's also several along the way here, both on the cobblestone and on the wood planks back here. And the only advice I can give to you here is it tends to be a crapshoot as far as getting swords go, right? Usually over in that corner over there is usually all the good stuff, from what I've seen. There's also another little area that I'll show you in a minute that tends to have a very good drop in it. But here's where you tend to get all your swords and whatnot. There are a few in the cobblestone where the chests spawn that have them. More than likely, you will not spawn next to one that has it. Somebody else will spawn next to that, run over here, punch you, and knock you down to your death. That has happened far too often for me to admit to. So, yeah, if you spawn up here, best bet, run to one of these edges, try to find something, and just survive as long as you can, maybe hide a little bit. Let these guys find their way back down and out of the arena. There's not usually ender pearls up here from what I've seen. So your only way out of here is to basically follow the lead down and around to try to get down these down and off this building, or down and off this roof here. Now if I run around a little bit, now you see also that there are some areas of this that aren't completed. Again, I don't know when they took the snapshot of this, but in the actual PvP map, this is all, there's no dirt up here. It's been fully completed. Also, some of the bleachers down below here in this particular map have not been completed. So just take that with a word of advice, or take that with a pinch of salt here. Now you see where this is. This is usually all filled out in the PvP map, but there tends to be a chest here, and from what I've seen, that chest tends to have some good stuff in it, namely an anvil that's almost done for, right? It's got maybe two good uses in it, and that helps out a lot, because you will find lots of books, enchanted books in this area, and that anvil will help you. You can grab it, run over to this area, usually here. I find that this tends to be the best area to do it. Plunk your anvil down, get a few enchants going, and you'll be good to go for a little while. At least get something on your sword anyway. But you see here, I say this area is usually the good area because you're not visible to most of the map over there, because that's where people are spawning. Over here, even though you're visible, even though you would think you're visible to the village, you're really not. The village can't see anything other than the sign here, really. So this is kind of the nice area to just kind of sit here and do what you need to do, as far as getting prepped and looking at your inventory and getting everything straightened out there. There is, if I can get over here, a really, really crappy spawn, as there was with the other map. And I will attempt to show you what the crappy spawn is. Basically, you spawn out in the air here, and you land right around here. As you can see, it took half my life, and there's no real way yet in the beta to avoid that, right? Basically, you land down here, half your life is gone, and you've got to regen, and you're in an area that doesn't usually have any chests. Occasionally, over here, there will be a chest in the tree that does not exist in this map. There's usually a tree right here. There will be usually a chest there, My advice to you, that chest usually doesn't have anything good in it. My advice is to get your ass out of here as quickly as possible, because you're going to have half your life. First of all, you got to jump down here. It's going to take even more of your life. And basically, you want to run and just get out of here, because everybody around you is going to be grabbing swords and everything else, and they're going to be coming for your head. Now, your first instinct after jumping down here is to probably run this direction. Now, I can tell you, if you run this direction, you're going to be stuck on this level until you get all the way over here. All right? What you want to do is, when you jump down here, is run this way. The trick here, though, sometimes people will spawn up and around here. Sometimes there's a chest here. You know, you can try and grab it, whatever floats your boat. What your main objective is to do is to run over here to really the only steps down to the first level. And they're hidden over here. There are no steps over there. You have to run all the way around and be shot at from people up on the roof, and be shot at from people down here, and basically attract all kinds of attention to yourself. If you run over this way, you might get out without attracting too much of attention. And the interesting thing here is you end up down here, which is the main area where a lot of people do spawn. But you come down here, this wall is actually completed in the PvP map. You come down here, you hang a quick left, and you are out of the building. All right? Now from here, you've got two choices. One choice is to just run into the village and hide and grab some loot. That's a viable choice. It'll work. It's, you know, I've done it. It's pretty good. What I've found, though, is if you hang an immediate left here, you'll see the Earl of Sandwich here. Now you think, well, this is a landmark, right? So a lot of people who are running around, because there's people will spawn over by the pumpkins over there. Some people will spawn behind where the mycelium is. You think this is going to be frequently trafficked by people who spawn outside the arena initially. And you're correct. Every time I've come in here, usually there's a chest down in this first area somewhere. Usually those two chests are usually empty. However, what I have noticed, and this kind of is a little bit of a social engineering thing, you got to remember you're playing against a lot of ADD kids who will run in here, see a bunch of chests, and run right back out. Usually they don't look up here. And usually there's a good chest in and around here on this balcony or out here. In fact, I've run in here a couple times, come up the steps, and found a chest full of just awesome gear that people have just not even attempted to look at. So there you go. People will spawn over there. They'll spawn over there. There's be chests over there. They'll be running around. They'll come in here. They'll look down on the first floor. They'll run back out and not even check up here. So there you go. There's even steps up there. I mean, for crying out loud, there's no excuse for not looking up there. All right, so I've described the crappy spawn. I described well, did I describe the better spawn? That is the question. So there was the really crappy spawn there. As far as good spawns go, I don't think I have encountered one yet to date on this particular map. And I say that because there is one that I should mention. There's an honorable mention, but it's not what I would consider to be the best area to spawn in, and I'll tell you why here. If I come down to, and hopefully the door will be open here. Okay. Oftentimes, and this is the yellow area, you don't usually spawn in here. There's a red and a blue area. There's this, we'll look in the red area here. Is it red and blue or red and green? Red and green, I guess. So we'll look down here. A lot of times there will be a chest up here. But often you'll spawn down here in this area. Now, sometimes this can be a good spawn, sometimes it can be a bad spawn. You'll spawn here. Oftentimes there'll be a chest nearby that you can grab, and it will usually have some kind of sword in it. These areas don't work. In fact, I think they're all blocked off and removed in the PvP map, because that would make things interesting. Often there's a chest also in the little bedroom area as well. And sometimes there's one over here, but a lot of times it's you just have to go upstairs to the one up there. Now, the reason I say that this is a sort of a toss-up is because there's oftentimes I've spawned here, and somebody else has spawned right there, and they've had a chest there that they could access easily, and basically you get right into a melee combat right away and pretty much die because you have no armor. So that's why this one's sort of a toss-up. It can be a really good one because you're kind of hidden, right? And there's usually a good amount of chests here. But at the same time, it's bad because usually somebody else spawns with you down there. And then when you come running out here, you're basically exposed to the entire arena. People will often jump down here and go after you. There is this chest in the middle here, seems to be also available in the PvP map, and it seems to be always there. And it usually has a golden apple in it, which is the thing that people tend to take right away, and then some gold around it. You can see also I can't take anything out of chests, which is why it's hard to navigate the museum servers right now, because I can't take any ender pearls and I can't fly. But there you go. That's sort of the arena area. If you do come out of there, either that one or the green one, and you don't have any armor, which is usually the case, but you have a sword, I tend to just make a beeline for the exit. Just like when you get the crappy spawn. You just make a beeline for the exit, and bonus points if you flail your arms around and type bees in all caps in the chat while you do it. Be just like Chris Farley in Tommy Boy. And then you just run out here, and like I said, the one thing you want to do is you want to get off of this sandstone as quickly as you can, get onto the sand and the wood, keep your eyes peeled on either side, but mostly you want to do this because you want to be able to hear other people running up behind you, and this is a good area to hear a lot of that going on. So there you go. Those are my tips so far, based on the beta for the PvP server. I have a feeling this is going to be like a long, long video because I feel like I've been talking for hours here. But hopefully some of those will help you. I don't know exactly how professional or useful they will be for those of you who are already good at the PvP stuff. In fact, I'm sure a lot of people will just say, hey, everything you just said is absolutely completely wrong. In which case I say, awesome, more power to you, because I'm just trying to learn this thing, and so far those are the things that have helped me and hurt me at the same time. And I figured if I tell all, perhaps they will help and or hurt others. and I won't be alone in my hurtful or helpfulness. Let's head back to spawn. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video. Well, I'm no sooner am I finished recording a half an hour later, but that I came up with another idea, another tip about combat in this game, and probably the most important tip: learn how to be a good loser. AKA, don't do what this guy has just done. This is how can I explain this the best way? This is a denial of service right here, because essentially this server now the game cannot end here until one of these guys decides to log off here. So just don't do this. /soapbox.